want to start?
I'll do.
Hey, brothers and sisters, rockers and rollers. Go ahead, Reeds. You start.
No, you start.
You start.
Okay, he's C.W. West.
That's Rita Wild.
There. I think we got it.
The
that
Wild
time.
Child.
We got to work on our
Intro.
we got a lot we got to work on. We're working on it. Give us some space. Mark Farner was a founding member of Grank Funk Railroad. He was a lead guitarist, lead singer, and chief lyricist. He's always best known as the energetic driving force on stage, the engine that pulled the original Grank Funk Railroad to the top of the charts. From his soulful voice and powerful rock riffs to fueling the funk.
The funk, man.
The funk with his atomic stage presence, his story and his imprint on music from his humble beginnings in a blue-collar outlook. Farner has captained a global crusade for love, peace, and freedom and become a rock and roll icon.
More than 60 years, he commands the stage with the same intensity, performing epic hits that defined a generation like I'm Your Captain, Closer to Home, Bad Times, Some Kind of Wonderful, foot-stomping music, Heartbreaker, rock and roll, Locomotion, and of course, We're an American Band.
Mark will be releasing his latest solo album on November 8th. We had the opportunity to speak with him regarding it, along with his career in music. Now, it's going to start off with a little kind of a thing that musicians know, and we're just going to let him explain it. We wish we could put in English Mark's answer at the beginning, which has to do with the human ear being able to tolerate a certain standard of tuning and instruments that was changed in the 1950s.
If that doesn't explain it, we can't help you. So here we go with our interview with Mark Farner, originally from Grank Funk Railroad.
Well, hello, Mark Farner.
Hey, Rita.
So nice to have you join us. Thank you for going through the technical glitches that we had. And
hey, it's kind of fun.
We learned something, I guess.
The eternal student right here, buddy.
Yeah, well, me too. Me too. So don't feel bad. Usually I'm the one giving CW all the problems. So anyway, you've got this brand new album coming out called Closer to My Home, release date November 8th. It's the 55th anniversary of the song I'm Your Captain and Closer to My Home. Are you there yet?
Yeah. I am ready. I am.
Yes.
It's a great rendition. It's a new rendition. I mean, it's basically the same song, but you've just updated it after 55 years. And tell us why you decided to redo that song.
Okay, the song is the 55th anniversary, but it was recorded like all of the Grand Funk stuff, and I wrote 92% of that music, but all of it was recorded in the tuning standard for the United States, which is A440. And all the tuners, guitar tuners, what have you, everything tunes to A440. But that switched from A432 to 440 in 1953. And I can't tell you why it switched, but I do know that A432 is in unison with nature. A friend sent a link, and this guy put a 15-inch speaker next to a kiddie pool on his deck, and he played a low A note in 440, the American standard, at 125 decibels, and you guys know 90 is the threshold of pain, so 125 is just smacking it. And the kiddie pool was like a storm. It was just frothing and waves and 6-foot diameter pool, little kiddie pool. So then he pumps the same note, but tuned to A432 at 125 decibels. It was flat as a piece of glass. And that got my attention. I'm I'm a very curious guy when it comes to things, anything. I'm very curious. I love to learn. And I wanted to know what it was about that frequency. So I've studied it out as part of the solfeggio scale. And this 432 is harmonic, just like it was harmonic with that little kiddie pool with the water. It didn't disturb it a bit. It just loved on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So this version is cut. In fact, everything that I've recorded for the past 15 years is recorded in A432. And I think I've been playing live in A432 for 20 years. I heard about it, and when I saw that visual, I started reading about it in the explanations. I just adapted it as my tuning standard, and I'm a happy guy. I'm tuned with nature.
That's
now,
beautiful.
Are you part Native American?
Yes, my mother's grandmother was full-blood Cherokee.
Okay. Yeah, because you do have much of that native spirit sense and that harmonic thing that you were just talking about just makes complete sense of harmony and balance and getting there and all sorts of things like that. That's great. Now you sing in the same key, which is amazing for somebody who's sung for over 50 years.
Yeah. I thank God for that, but I'm telling you, it's exercised by reason of use. I'm sitting in the car going down the road, I'm singing. In the truck, I'm singing. In the woods, I'm singing. I'm cutting. I got electric chainsaws. I'm cutting firewood. I'm out there singing. In the barn singing. And I love to sing. I just love to sing. And I thank God that I do have that range. I can still hit the notes. And for this record, of course, many people that have heard it they say you haven't changed. Your voice sounds the same.
It sounds great.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
the first track on the album is called Anymore, and I think that sounds just so great, so fresh. I love it. For some reason, I've never heard this or know this, but your vocal reminded me a little bit of Joe Walsh on that one. And it was like, yeah, I'd never heard that before. And it's like, yeah. But I mean, your career has just been amazing. I mean, people don't realize, like late 60s, early 70s, when you were playing with your band, Grank Funk Railroad, you guys were selling out stadiums. I mean, you were one of the first bands that did that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the group that bought the tickets at Shea Stadium in New York City, that was before there was any online tickets. There was no such thing as, online.
Right. So selling those tickets in 3 days, that's pretty fast.
It's actually 71 hours. They camped out on the lawn at Shea Stadium with their tents and sleeping bags so they could get the tickets. Every ticket got sold from that ticket office, you guys.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good
not
times.
like it is today. But with progress and everything, I'm sure you've got some amazing stories to tell about the business. And for somebody just getting into the business now, what is the most important thing that you would tell them?
Don't let the business bum you out. If you've got the desire to play and you have the talent, it's not a gift, it's a talent. And I believe these talents are God-given talents. Some people have talents to be a carpenter or a plumber or a computer whiz or what. We all have talents. I just am very fortunate, you guys, that I found mine and I love what it is. And I have loved music from the time I was a little shaver, wandering around 3-4 years old, looking up at these huge human beings in the dining room of the big farmhouse that we lived in, and they're singing and playing fiddles and banjos and guitars, and my dad blew saxophone, and all the women singing. It sounded like angels, and it impressed me at that young age. I always loved music, and I'm glad, I'm overjoyed that this is my component. This is what I do, and it's how I make my living.
Yeah, how nice that you love it so much, right?
Yeah.
And going back to Rita's question, I kind of feel like, and Mark, I don't know if you want to get into any detail, but it feels like the song Anymore is kind of that advice to the young bands coming in that is like, look out for, record companies, look out for contracts you sign, look out for this,
Look out for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I was young, I listened to the words of men, but that was then, and I won't listen to them anymore. They told me things I should believe, but all it did was make me grieve, so I won't listen to them anymore.
More.
And then, love, because love dispels all of the bad teachings, all of the bad juju that got on you in your innocence. You're just a gullible little kid, just a gullible guy, gullible girl. You're wanting to, get involved. You want to be accepted, and you're told a lot of things. Boy, Don and I were 20, and Mel was 19 when the band started, and we had our first million-selling album. So we were kids.
Oh my God.
We got taken advantage of. And I don't want any young musician, boy, girl, don't matter to me. I don't want anybody taken advantage of like that, because that's just not, that is not even human to my estimation, to take advantage of someone. That's part of the darkness, and I want to be part of the light. I want to be part of love, the love.
Yeah.
The world needs the love. And so in that, continuing on in that record, it says, in the beginning, it was me and my band. It's sad to say that we don't play together anymore. It's not the quantity, it's the honesty, my friend. The story ends, and I'm not angry with him anymore. Because if you don't find forgiveness, if you don't realize how to forgive and know that forgiveness is your best friend, it is your guide. It is your guide to get you through this. Listen, we're all going to expire someday, but while we're on our way, there's going to be things that are going to try to disrupt us. It's like that speaker next to that pool. It's agitating the water. What are we, 80% water or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, let's play something in the frequency that gets along with water. And that's the love that I'm singing about in the chorus on Anymore. And that love is available to everyone who desires it, and everyone who can get the concept that you are the one that's going to set you free. No one is going to come along and zap you or you take the magic wand to you or anything. It has to be your understanding that sets you free. And you cannot accept indebtedness of any type from anyone in order to be free. Debt consciousness is the plague of mankind, but we're in control of it.
Yeah, it has to come within.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's it.
It just, it sets you free when you have that resentment, because I can understand in your case, and in many cases in the music business, just how effed up that business can be for young people. They don't care about anybody else but, themselves and making a dollar. I know you want to move on from the band because you were Grand Funk, man. You were Grand Funk.
I appreciate it.
And I get pissed off when I see other people take that name and make money off of it, because you were Mark Farner. You were singer. You had that hair. All the girls loved you. All the guys wanted to be you. It was an interesting time. Now, on this new album, I love that you hooked up with Mark Slaughter.
Yeah.
And he produced it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and played on it.
Yes, he did. And we did a Howard Stern show in New York City. We were both playing at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and Howard Stern called David Fishoff and said, "Hey, I want Mark Farner to come over and play I'm Your Captain on the show." So we had Kip Winger on bass, Sandy Gennaro on drums, Teddy Zigzag on keyboards, Bruce Kulick on acoustic guitar, Mark Slaughter on second guitar, me on the first guitar, and we're in this little studio playing, and Slaughter's maybe 2 feet away from me. I mean, it's tight. And as he's singing, and we get to that part, "Am I in my cabin dreaming?" He's singing the harmony, and I'm going, "Wow, this dude can sing. It's clear. He's hitting the pitch right on." And after that, I told him, I said, "Man, I didn't know you could sing like that. I thought you was a screamer." and he said, "Well, I appreciate it because I love that song, and I love what you're saying with that song." And he said, "I'm going to send you something, and I want you to give it a listen." So he sent me some of the music that he had been working on and producing for himself, and it's all his own writing. And I didn't realize it until I got on the phone with him after I had listened to it. I thought it was great sounding, wide stereo, nice placement of the instruments. You could tell over here's the guitar, over here's the keyboard, here's the drums, and the various, going around the kit. It was nice. It was very nice. And I called him and I said, "Hey, Mark, I wanted to tell you that the music that you sent me is awesome. It is huge. The production on it is huge." And he says, "I want you to know that that's me doing that, and I want you to know that I want to produce you." And I went, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And yeah. I thought, man, could this be? But he's part Native as well. Oh. And so our hearts run together tribally. And there's times in the studio when we just look at each other and just knew what to do. It's just, and I respect him, highly respect him. I love him as a brother, but I really respect him for what he stands for. And the way, his Jesus is the same Jesus my Jesus is. And we don't give a shit about what other people might think about us, because that forgiveness, we are embracing that. We are what you call cussing Christians.
What other words do you know that you've learned cussing?
We know them all, buddy.
So I shouldn't feel so bad about saying the F word. And I didn't say the F word. I just said
you can say it if you want. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, good.
One of the songs I really, and I know this album, Close to My Home, is very personal. One that really is touching to me is Tiny Fingers, which is a nice acoustic. I think it's just you and guitar. I don't know if anybody else is in there, but it's a really beautiful song. And I think I found out what it was about. I kind of took it as though you might be talking about your grandchildren or something like that, but I think it's a little bit different than that. And is that something you want to tell us the story about?
Sure. Yeah, the Tiny Fingers, I wrote that years and years ago. My son Jason is 45 now, on the 27th of this month.
Oh, happy birthday.
So the song was, I watched Jason come into the world, you guys. I watched him come out of Lisa and into the hands of that doctor, and I'm bawling. I'm standing there, and Lisa's bawling. It's like, oh my God, this is. So it really encouraged me to write this the song after, some years and some, he was our first child. So we were trial parenting.
Sure.
We didn't know, but we learned and we grew into it. And the kids have so much pulling at them from every different direction, and we pray for them, but they're going to go whichever way. And sometimes, you want to jump in front of that bullet, but you're not going to. There's a lot of things that are going to take them and hit them. And some of the things are going to piss them off, and to the point where it's pissing you off. And this song, I wrote it after some of this had occurred, and the tears of joy become tears of sadness. No one said it to me that tiny boys grow up with madness for their eyes to see. And I'm telling you something, I played this song 20 years ago or more at a biker rally in North Carolina. And we were doing a sound check. There wasn't many people. And I walked up while the guys were setting up their stuff. I'm testing out my monitor, and I hit the chord, and I went, tiny fingers, tiny hand. And I played it by myself because the guys didn't know it. Mm-hmm. But as I'm playing this song, these bikers start walking up. And there's a crowd of bikers listening to me sing Tiny Fingers. And when I finished it, it's like there was tears coming down their faces and thumbs up in the air. And man, it was for me, it was touching because it's hard to sing this song. It's difficult to sing this song. My friend who played keyboards on it, because there's the keyboards that are in there and there's the acoustic guitar.
You're right. Yeah.
My friend who played keyboard lost his daughter. She was in her 20s, and it broke his heart. It's their only child. Mm. And, and I lost Jesse, my youngest boy, in 2018. And so when I started thinking about doing this song, because Paul, the guy who played the keyboards on it, he'd been after me for years and years and years because he was in the band when we were in North Carolina. He was my keyboard player, sax player, background singer. And he's been after me for all these years. Record that song, Farner, record that song. What the hell is wrong with you? Record that song, and finally, the time was right, and I called him and I said, Paul, I'm recording Tiny Fingers. He said, no. And I said, yes, I am. And I said, and you're playing keyboard on it. What? I said, I don't want anything but you and me on this, because I think our hearts are right now, and I think it's the time to record it.
Thank you for sharing it and, putting it out there for, it'll be out there forever now, which is really, really nice.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
A couple of other new songs on the album. Real. You had me at the acoustic guitars on that one. And then going into that incredible electric guitar. And also The Prisoner. Oh, love that song.
I do too. Funk is back.
Yeah. All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah, The Prisoner. We were doing Dick Wagner, Remember the Child. It's a charity that they do every year in Detroit. And Dick Wagner was the guitar player for Alice Cooper and Ursa Major. He wrote Only Women Bleed, and he wrote a lot of songs. And he passed away, and we do these charities in his honor. And the band was warming up in a rehearsal place and just setting up. People are still setting up. And I started doing that little jam. And then all of a sudden, the bass player, David Winans, he starts playing. And Paul Brown on the B3 And Rick Murphy, one of the background singers, he starts singing lyrics, and then all of a sudden it's a song. We're jamming on a song, and it happened all right there in that little rehearsal time. I finished it up afterwards, wrote it out, and David got to play on, the bass player, David Winans, got to play on it, and he sang, "Keep on walking, don't tell me no lies." That background part, that's him singing with himself on that. It's a funky thing.
Yeah.
Those guys, they're my brothers too, because we're all in it for the love. We all want to represent the love, and this song does represent it in a funky way.
Love that.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, I've been in and out of therapy for a while, and I find it very coincidental that I was looking back at my younger years, and I was around 8 years old, and this goes back to I'm Your Captain again, which the remake is on the new album, Closer to My Home. But I remember at 8 and hearing about the Vietnam War, and at that age, and this is hard to picture even for me, but I don't have any children, Rita doesn't have any children, you have children, but you think about them at age 8. I was thinking, how am I going to get to Canada so I'm not drafted into this war? And it wasn't until years later that I heard I'm Your Captain, and it connected so much more. But what a horrible time to have to think about that stress at that young age of, how am I going to get out of it? I'm not supposed to kill people. Why am we doing this? And I think you went through that same, like you were looking at going to Canada too, correct?
We were looking at going anywhere to avoid it. But the song came to me as an answer to prayer. And I had no idea. I didn't have the foggiest clue as to where the song was going to go. I always say my prayer when I go to sleep. And I pray during the daytime. I pray anytime it hits me, I'm praying. But I said my prayers. My mother showed us all the kids, 6 kids. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. The prayer. And after I got done blessing all the family and the cousins and the aunts and uncles and grandmas and everybody, all the friends, I put a P.S. on there, and I said, "God, would you please give me a song that would reach and touch those you want to get to?" I got up maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I sat up in bed, and I keep a steno pad right next to my bed because I've lost a lot of things when I was dreaming, and I have to wake up and write it down. I didn't know this was a song. I've written so many things that aren't songs, just writings. So I start writing, everybody listen to me and return me my ship. And I'm your captain, though I'm feeling mighty sick. And it's like I knew better than to go back and reread what I had written. But in my songwriting process, this is a normal thing to do. And the people that I have written songs with, we rehash those words to stimulate the next verse. Where's it going to go from here? We, chronologically, we kind of lay it out. But I knew instinctively, in the state of mind that I was in, and the place I was in was halfway between heaven and earth. In my mind, I was not all the way awake. I couldn't wake up all the way, and I knew to stay there and not fight it. And I'm writing the words down, and when I got to the end, I was completely spent. My energy was zapped. I laid that steno pad down on the nightstand, rolled back under the sheets, and finished it off. And when I got up in the morning, I was out, grabbed my acoustic guitar out of the stand in the kitchen, and I got a coffee going, looking at the horses out in the pasture, and I'm playing pop 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 doo doo doo, playing that lick. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And
Mm.
then this C chord, an inversion of the C that was new. I had never played this thing before, but just the way I reached over and got it, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, boy, I better not forget this. I'm trying. And as I'm looking at my hand, that it's like this message came to me: get those words. And so I go in there and I get the words, put them on the table. I push the record button on my cassette recorder and recorded it. I played it and recorded it. It all came out. I read the words and I went through it. I took it to practice and we worked it up. And back then, Don and Mel both told me that song's a hit.
Mm.
A hit, Farner. And I think, it needed to be a hit for the Vietnam veterans because it was their favorite song. And as they come home from Vietnam, they were playing it over and over and over. I've got so many different letters and things from people. And I played for the 25th anniversary of the wall in Washington, D.C. at the monument. And there was not a dry eye. And not only the U.S. soldiers, but the Canadian Vietnam veterans as well, our brothers and sisters from Canada. And so that, and because there's no video to it, it's what video runs in our heads via our imagination creates the story for us. Yeah. And a friend of WNEW in New York City said they ask 100 people to give the interpretation, their individual interpretation of The Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. And he said, Farner, man, we got 100 diversely different interpretations. Not any two were even close. That was beautiful to me because that's what our individual minds are capable of without a video, without a visual influence, interpreting what the hell the song is supposed to be saying or, what it's. So for the Vietnam veterans, they clung to the words of that song. And I've heard it right directly from their mouths for years. And it just makes my day. It makes
Beautiful.
my life.
It's probably the only homecoming they got, the Vietnam vets at that time. Yeah. So we're going to ask you some fun questions. What was the first concert you went to?
First concert? Oh, man. It was in Canada. I don't remember the name of the band. I was with some guys that they were going up there to see these guys, and they had two drummers.
Whoa.
Two drummers. I can't remember I wish I could remember the name. I knew it for a minute back then.
That's good.
But then I took another hit off the joint.
Now you don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Do you have a great story, a Spinal Tap moment, the best Spinal Tap moment? Although you've gone through a lot of them, but what is your best Spinal Tap moment in your career?
I think London, England, Hyde Park, Humble Pie opened the show. This is with Steve Marriott and Peter Frampton in the same band, Humble Pie. And it was a killer band. And they opened for us. It was our time to go on. And back then, I would run across the stage and I would slide on my knees and up, And so here I am. And back then I didn't have the wireless. I had a coil cord, like the old phone cords with a XLR jacks in the center to hook the two They were supposed to be, or maybe it was three. I don't know. I was all over the stage, and they were trying to make something that I could get anywhere I wanted. So we had several of them hooked together, and I go running across. I'm sliding. I go, oh shit, and I go right off the front of the stage
into the pit.
No pit. I dropped down in front of the English version of a motorcycle gang that was up front there.
Oh my God.
I lit on my feet about a 12-foot drop. Yeah, I lit on my feet and I kept playing, but I found out exactly how far that coil cord would stretch. I couldn't move another inch.
It was still connected?
It was still connected. It was picked up. Well, I wrapped the cord around my strap and then plug it in, always.
You have a little extra.
Yeah, just this little cable relief there, a little strain relief. Whoa.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
I crawled under the stage after I handed my guitar back up, and the guitar tech like leaning down, and they got my guitar by the end and picked it up, and I crawled underneath the framework of that stage back to the stage, and they let me back up on top.
Oh, that's beautiful.
If only you had video of that.
That's beautiful.
That's great. Is there anybody who you would love to play with, musician-wise?
They all died.
That's okay. If they were alive, who would it be?
Jimmy.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Did you guys ever play like at a show together?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we talked, and he told me I was a great singer. Jimmy did.
Wow.
And, he was my guitar god. But Zappa, there was one that I wanted to play with. And after he produced our record, Good Singing and Good Playing, he said, man, I've got a song that I want you to sing. Would you be into singing on my record? And I went, hell yeah, man. Are you kidding me? And after I spent time with this guy, I mean, he's straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
He didn't do drugs.
Or alcohol.
Yeah. I saw him because we went to this club, and everybody's ordering drinks and stuff, and he orders a Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple.
Guys, God bless them. They're in the rock and roll heaven right now. But
yeah. But you had so many great songs. Me, Mistreater, Foot Stomp and Music. I mean,
Heartbreaker.
Oh yeah. Just great stuff. I remember you came in, I think, or did one of the Mark and Brian shows when they were on the radio in Los Angeles. And I remember seeing you at a NAMM convention, and I asked you about guitars. I said, what's your favorite? And you go, a PRS, because it's easy on your back. Are you still doing a PRS?
No, I'm doing a Parker Fly.
Okay, tell us about that.
Yeah, Parker Fly. Ken Parker. And, it was back in 93, and Fishman, well, it was Parker and Fishman that got together because Larry Fishman had the pickups, the piezo that goes in the bridge and gives it more of that acoustic brilliance. And you can blend the amount of the piezo with the magnetic pickups. And the beautiful thing about the Parker Fly is it weighs 5 pounds or less.
That's pretty good.
Mine is solid mahogany, and it's 4.9 pounds.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah. And it sounds so good. And mine's a 93. I call her Betty because my mom was Betty, and she's the one playing guitar when I was 15 years old. So this is Betty, and Betty's in heaven, my mom. She lives in that guitar.
That's sweet. That's really nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Such a spirited individual. I love that. Are you going to be doing anything on the road?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to support this album with touring with dates, and TKO is the agency. Jim Lenz is the agent, and they are, putting dates together right now to back this thing up.
Right. Well, this album comes out November 8th. And if you go to your website, you can get like a signed copy. It's a beautiful looking record. It's beautiful, beautiful. And to get your signature on it, man, that's good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Mark. It's a pleasure speaking with you and sending you the love that you send to the rest of this world.
All right. Thank you so much. God bless you, Rita.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate it so much.
All right.
Be good. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Such a nice guy.
God dang it. That guy is so down to earth and so happy about life and religion and love and peace and
spiritual.
Yeah.
And humble. I just love that. Our very special thanks to Jody Glissman Best. She is the best for coordinating the interview. Mark's touring info and merchandise can be found on his website at markfarner.com.
Follow Mark on social media. Instagram is Mark Farners, Farners, American Band. Facebook at Mark Farner, American Band.
The new album, Closer to My Home, will be released on November 8th, 2024. You can stream a few songs now, or you can order an autographed vinyl or CD copy on Mark's website at markfarner.com.
And check out our show notes. It's our website. It's rock and roll confessional.rocks. And there you can find links to some of the subjects talked about in today's show, including some great classic videos along with some rare photos of Mark and links to order the new autographed album.
If you are a new subscriber or an old one that is slow at responding, please subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. Also, we would appreciate it if you would take 1 minute or 30 seconds to write a review. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. CW does an amazing job of posting current rock and roll events on the website as well. So,
and you do an amazing job at liking them. So thank you for putting your thanks for putting your thumb up there.
I'm good at that.
Put your thumb up somewhere, Rita.
Up yours, buddy.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it. Tell your friends. And
best wishes to all of you on having a wonderful, wonderful week.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, everybody. Bye.